looking very photogenic today.
We try for Monday.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council, for having me today. I'm here, of course, to provide you with a broad overview of the proposed city operating budget for the fiscal years 2022 through 2024. And as you can see, our focus is on growing a safe and successful city. And that starts with a vision. The work that we do together at the city helps to realize a vision for our community. And this vision, the direction for the administration, reflects the belief that city government at its best helps people coexist and reach their full human potential. And the work that all of us do, oh, you guys got these stuck now, okay. Can you hear me okay? The work that we all do is fundamental to freeing our residents from worry about the basics of city living, so that instead they can focus on improving their lives and their futures. And as an organization, the City of Lincoln is uniquely positioned to protect the public and keep them safe. We know that we are uniquely positioned to provide essentials like safe, clean drinking water, to pave our streets, to provide public transportation. We're uniquely positioned to ensure that our residents have clean air to breathe and green spaces to play in, and to access books and technology that help people succeed in school and be lifelong learners that new economic realities demand. So our vision, first and foremost, involves supporting the fundamental work that our city team, does to make life better in Lincoln, to make Lincoln a place where we all want to live, work, and grow. To realize this vision, we pursue 5 major outcome objectives with our city budget. And we use our resources to grow a safe and healthy city, a vibrant economy and high quality of life, to build a strong and resilient city, to create a more equitable and inclusive city, and to continually improve and make our city more innovative and operationally excellent. And this proposed biennial budget builds on the strong foundation. Oops, sorry, gosh. I'm trying to. John Carlson, can you come here, please? Sorry. I'm having trouble scrolling when I want to scroll.
Let's see that. To get the TV folks to seem like the right thing to do.
There you go. Thank you. All right, thanks for your patience, everybody, with our technical difficulties. Okay. So as I was saying, the proposed biennial budget, it is building on the strong foundation of success that we as a city team have achieved over the past 3 years in partnership with our community members and with our organizations and businesses. And it has been truly the honor of a lifetime to serve as mayor during these times and to be part of a community that pulled together in the face of extraordinary challenges. Our successes in combating the pandemic and its myriad impacts are ones that we have accomplished together. The city team's dutiful, thoughtful, and at times often courageous deployment of city services and programs and infrastructure during turbulent times has provided a really important backbone for our shared successes. So just want to spend a brief moment looking back at those shared successes. Our fiscal year 2021 budget met the moment. We focused on meeting those challenges, economic and physical, that the pandemic posed. And our city team and our cross-sectoral partners responded by mobilizing our community quickly to keep families safe and our businesses operating safely. The sound and strategic investments that we made in the 21-22 budget together focused on recovery and renewal. And our efforts helped make Lincoln one of the safest communities in the country and one of the fastest to rebound economically. So let's take a closer look at that recovery and renewal, and we'll start with health and safety and then turn to our robust economy. Our pandemic response as a city and a community resulted in Lancaster County having one of the lowest COVID-19 mortality rates in the country. Here you can see some CDC data that speaks to that. And we also know that a researcher at Johns Hopkins School of Public Health compared Lancaster County to over 700 community counties with similar demographics all across the country and found us to be in the top 10% with the lowest mortality rate due to COVID. And in terms of more traditional measures of success with public health and safety, we can look just to our cardiac survival rate, which is now double the national average, which sort of means that if we were a statistically average city, we would have saved 13 people from sudden cardiac arrest over last year. But due to the efforts of LFR and our partners, we gave 30 people a second chance at life. And because public safety is our #1 priority, another key focus for us is maintaining a low crime rate. And as you can see from this chart, when we look at 34 US cities of similar size, Lincoln has the 12th lowest rate of violent crime per capita population. We remain a safe community thanks to the efforts of our public safety professionals and the work that we do in collaboration with our businesses and our neighborhoods and our residents. Some other key indicators of our community's success have to do with the health of our economy. So here I just want to highlight some data on the building permits that the city issues and tracks. And on this slide, you can see the record pace of housing construction, residential housing construction. It's at an all-time high. And when you look at building permits for both residential and commercial, you see a similar trend. These have also pushed up to record levels. And I want to emphasize that significant investments in infrastructure and services by the city have helped to facilitate this growth in homes and businesses. And our economic rebound has not gone unnoticed. Well, we are proud to have WalletHub call us out as the #1 city. They compared 180 different cities looking at their overall unemployment rate, along with employment data from 2019 to 2021, and we ranked #1 amongst 180 cities for that kind of economic bounce back. So the key takeaway from our glance back to the past several years is that together we kept our community safe and restored our economy. So thank you for the tremendous role that you played in that. Now, our shared goal is to, use this success as a springboard to propel Lincoln further forward. And we'll do that by building on the success of our growing economy that is powered by those sound and strategic choices we've made in past budgets. It will involve continuing to make investments in infrastructure and services that support our record-setting pace of private sector growth and development, and that commitment of our team to hard work, innovation, efficiency, and customer service. Our 22-24 proposed budget builds on that momentum, its energy and resources with investments that enhance public safety and health, that fuel economic growth, that provide excellent customer service, and protect the high quality of life in Lincoln. So what does a budget that invests in these things look like? In broad brushstrokes, here's the total community investment in the tax-funded budget. For the first year, it's $243 million, and in the second year, it is $253 million. And this budget provides resources that are essential to our capacity to deliver on our community's priorities. Now, the city budget, as you are well aware, includes multiple funds and is supplemented by a capital budget. The presentation I'm giving you all today, of course, focuses primarily on the tax-funded budget because that's the focus of the council's work. That's where policymakers have the most discretion. Most of the other funds that are in the budget are restricted, like the water fund or the golf fund. The revenue is largely constrained and prescribed. I also want to just highlight that these budget totals, when you look at them over time, really represent modest growth in budget investments of approximately 3.5% over the past 5 years. And again, I would point out that in 2021, you see where we actually had a dip in the growth of the budget. It was cut as we made strategic decisions to deal with the economic uncertainty surrounding the pandemic. I also want to highlight what has been true for years, that public safety is the largest portion of our tax-funded budget. Police and fire investments make up more than half of it, and public safety and health together make up the largest portion of our tax-funded budget. And these percentages hold true in both years of the biennium. Looking at the revenue side, multiple funding streams are necessary to support the programs and services that we deliver through our budget. And while there are many slices of this pie, what I guess I would just highlight is that there are really three legs of the stool when it comes to our revenue sources for the budget. We've got sales tax, we've got property tax, and then other revenue, things like occupation taxes or charges or fees for services. We need a healthy economy with all three legs of these stools working in order to provide the services that support our community. That said, while there is a three-legged stool, it's worth noting that sales tax comprises the largest single source of revenue for our tax-funded budget. And we are really dependent on sales tax revenue to deliver services and infrastructure that ensures public safety, that helps continue to fuel our economic growth and improve our quality of life. And I think it's worth us taking a minute just to talk about what's going on with sales tax right now. As I mentioned earlier, our budget investments, including federal stimulus investments, have supported a rebounding economy. And sales tax receipts are up significantly over the past 2 years. You can see how the solid line on this chart sort of ticks up. And while we project that they will return to the steady growth trend line that you can see over time, this goes back to 2002, 2003, we want to make sure that we are taking these resources as they grow and reinvest in infrastructure and community services that will continue to propel us forward, which is why we are able to provide a property tax cut for the second year in a row. The 22-24 biennial budget includes a $1.2 million property tax rate cut. And that means Lincoln will actually now have the 12th lowest property tax levy in the state. This chart looks at the top 15 cities by population, and you can see Lincoln in the light bar where we rank compared to other communities. That said, what's maybe even more remarkable is the fact that our property, how we compare with other entities that receive property tax dollars in Lincoln. The city only receives 16% of your total property tax bill, and we are incredibly efficient in turning that into infrastructure investment and services that grow our economy and the quality of life. So this is good news. In addition to the tax rate cut, we are also continuing to make investments in our growing community. So we'll take a look at some of those investments now for 22-24. As we look to protect the health and safety of all Lincoln families, we're looking to support our emergency response, adding 6 additional Lincoln Fire and Rescue personnel, EMS firefighter paramedics specifically, to make sure that we have good coverage and response. We've got increased funding for apparatus. As you know, we've been working on that project over time to make sure we have adequate equipment. And then station improvements. You've seen the data about this condition of our stations. We want to make sure that they're in good working order, both to support our team and also to ensure that our operations are smooth. To further protect the health and safety of all our Lincoln families, we are looking to add 5 additional police officers to provide enhanced support and coverage across the community, some additional 911 dispatchers to make sure we're connecting callers to help, 3 additional civilian employees at LPD to free up uniformed officers who currently perform those roles, and then continued investment in mental health, crisis response, and peer support programs that I know the council cares deeply about. We also protect the health and safety of all Lincoln families through our health team, which we all know very well now if we didn't before. So we are looking to create a community-wide home health visitation initiative to support newborns and their mothers. We're increasing support for essential dental care that we provide to low-income community members. We're looking to reduce environmental health risks and to add an animal control officer to support the 22% increase in our pet residents that we've gained since 2007. I told a little story on Friday about the fact that at one of our cabinet meetings, Pat Lopez was actually late to the meeting, and we were wondering why, and she rushed in, and she had just, on her way leaving the health department, seen a stray dog, caught the dog, and returned it to its owner. We don't want Pat Lopez being our animal control officer. We need real folks on the ground doing that so she can focus on the bigger picture. Other key investments that promote economic development, we want to continue our partnership with the Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development. The Chamber and we make up those two halves of that effort to help facilitate growth and recruit new businesses and support our workforce and our entrepreneurs. We're also adding an economic development specialist to help move projects, including affordable housing projects, seamlessly through the city review processes. We, of course, continue our workforce programs like the American Jobs Center that connect community residents to good-paying jobs and help both workers and employers. And we continue to invest in strong public-private partnership approaches that have served us so well here in Lincoln. Those public-private partnerships that I just talked about, we do have to hold up our end of those. We have to provide excellent customer service to facilitate the growth and development of our city. So our commitment and investment in customer service has never been stronger. It's one of the important ways that we support our private sector partners. And we hear from them, and we know that time is money. And those businesses and community members depend on fast and accurate turnaround times with their plans and their permits and their service requests to keep their operations moving. So this will be an important way that we continue to achieve record-setting business development activity and strong economic growth through the positions that we've listed here. And that's why we are reinvesting our resources to continue to help support the growth of our community and continue to have strong and resilient infrastructure and services that support our quality of life. I continue to be incredibly proud of and inspired by our City of Lincoln team. I hope you are too. Thanks to a commitment to efficiency in service delivery, to strategic investments in technology, and to innovation by our city team, you might be surprised to learn that the number of city employees per capita actually has decreased from 9.1 FTE in 2006-2007 to 7.8 FTEs in 2022-23. Despite Lincoln having grown by over 53,000 residents. It's like we've taken Grand Island and added it to our community, and we have fewer customer service folks per capita than we did back then. So these are the teammates who are helping to deliver our key city services and infrastructure. And infrastructure, I know, is a top priority for you and our residents, especially streets. So we are continuing to build infrastructure that supports a strong and resilient city. And when it comes to streets and transportation, we are continuing our steadfast commitment to growing and repairing our roads. You'll see that over $44 million in capital investments is being made into the transportation system in year one, with that growing to $47 million in year two. We'll be continuing to make a capital investment in StarTran. Of course, we have a lot of federal and state support for that. We'll also be looking to modify our routes and make improvements that help with on-time performance. We have new and replacement paratransit vans, additional operators, and bus station improvements that will help make the user experience better. And before we leave this slide, I do want to highlight that I know that last year you added additional funding for sidewalk, and we want to continue to help address that backlog. So this biennial budget includes now almost $1.6 million in sidewalk funding annually. We're also building infrastructure that has to support a strong and resilient city and is fundamental for our existence, and that's water. So we include improvements for new lines and treatment facility expansion to support growth and development, meter and main replacements in existing neighborhoods, well field improvements, and preparations to secure a second water source. We are repairing and replacing water lines in existing neighborhoods and building more water lines for new homes and businesses that grow our city. And we continue to focus on water quality, safety, and security, and there's a lot of detail here on this slide about how we're doing that. Just like water supply, we are investing significantly in wastewater, both in existing neighborhoods and new growth areas. We joked that this is one of the prettiest looking, this makes wastewater look beautiful, this photo from 30,000 foot view. We know that wastewater infrastructure is essential and that those improvements are necessary to continue to grow our city. The improvements we're making through this budget include sewer main repair and replacement in existing neighborhoods, sewer main extension and construction to support new homes and businesses, and additional capacity at the Teresa Street treatment plant to support our growing community. We're also making strategic investments to keep our community strong and resilient in the face of a changing climate. And our investments in modernizing our city fleet operations will make us more effective and responsive. We'll continue to have high service levels, and they also save fuel and lower our maintenance costs in the long run. We'll also be looking to investing in the important work of tree trimming. I know you have to hear about the problems with tree limbs falling and damaging cars, and we don't ever want those to affect people, people's safety. So we're looking to increase funding for tree trimming and planting. We want to lessen the risk from those damaged trees. We also know that they help us lower heating and cooling costs, and that they also play an important role in decreasing our greenhouse gas emissions. We also continue to seriously address the emerald ash borer. We're continuing our work with treatment and recovering from the treatment and replacement of trees. As we grow, we continue our investment to growing an even more equitable and inclusive community and to cultivating a high quality of life. So this proposed budget, I'm so happy to say, retains full service levels for the main library and neighborhood branches. It funds parking lot resurfacing at Gear and Bethany branches. It repairs the elevator at Bennett Martin main library and provides additional programming and outreach at Williams and Isley branch libraries. We're also adding the staff necessary to operate the newly constructed replacement Air Park Community Center and the Williams branch library. As we look to continue to grow an equitable and inclusive community, we're going to be increasing funding for parks and trails maintenance that supports the growth of the city. We do have 6 new parks and 4 new trail segments coming online. We need to, address those as well. We also have hard surfacing repairs. And we are continuing the $100,000 that you put in the budget last year for accessible playgrounds to make sure that our parks are available to everyone in Lincoln. We have additional programming at Easter Day Recreation Center for residents with disabilities. We've got additional park fleet funding, including equipment maintenance and replacement. We've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to fleet maintenance. And we'll continue to support our Aging Partners service delivery and that transition to Victory Park that is so important. As we grow an equitable and inclusive community, we will continue that sharp focus on providing affordable housing by continuing the $710,000 in funding that you added to the budget last year. We're going to be looking to remove barriers for quality infill housing and creating a rental rehab program that supports high quality affordable housing and makes sure that we don't lose the existing affordable housing stock that we have. We'll continue to provide rent and utilities assistance. And in our partnership with the county for the Joint Budget Committee, we will be contributing more to that partnership because we know how important it is to support our nonprofit agencies as they provide food and shelter and basic needs to our families and residents in need. And we will continue to enhance our efforts at making the city a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive place to work, and that we can therefore, with a more increasingly diverse team, meet the needs of our residents more holistically. In conclusion, I just want to say that Lincoln is a city on the rise, and this proposed biennial budget builds on the sound and strategic choices and investments of the previous 2 budgets, so thank you so much for helping us get to this place. This budget reinvests the resources from our strong economy and Lincoln's steady growth, and it reinvests them into infrastructure and services that will help us continue to have strong infrastructure and customer service and that support our robust public-private partnership approach in Lincoln. And we are going to be moving into a brighter future with this budget as we advance public health and safety, as we look to fuel our economic growth and economic opportunity and equity for all our residents, and grow the resiliency and quality of life for our community. With that in mind, I respectfully request your consideration and support of this proposed city budget for the upcoming 22-24 fiscal years. And as you can see, we have directors of city departments who stand at the ready to answer any questions, address any concerns, or to have dialogue with you over the coming weeks and months as you take this budget through a public process. And we are so grateful for your service as you do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, very much. Are there comments or questions today? Councilman McGinnis. There I go again. McGinnis. Thank you, Councilman.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, you're right. No big questions for today. Thank you for all the hard work of putting this together. I know it's never an easy process, but it's a pretty robust budget. But we got to remember it's for 2 years going forward. So I think we'll all have a lot of views on it and different things, and that's what you look forward to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Any other
And your
comments?
service.
Yeah, any others? Okay. Go ahead, Councilwoman. You don't, okay, anybody? I would just say, thank you, as Councilman McGinnis said. I would just like to say it is robust, and it will give us a lot to think about. I've been able to mention this to a couple of my colleagues, but I'm going to ask for small group sessions with the council so that we can deliberate as small groups, because this is, it is a 2-year budget, but it is robust. And in times like this where we are fortunate to have so much to work with, my experience has been different than what the budget is, and so I want to make sure and include and get feedback from my colleagues on how to approach the council's part now. So that will be coming up. I'll be contacting my peers to sit down and get their input as we deliberate over the next few weeks and months about our response to the growth, which is a lot of growth. But so thank you very much. And
I believe everything will now be linked online so that as you hear from the public and are able to, listen and allow their voices to inform priorities going forward, that should be accessible. And I encourage you to share the documents and point them in the direction of these so that they can be more informed. And I know that thank you for conducting the public hearings that allow them to come forward and express their views as well.
great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, with that, unless anyone in our audience or here needs a break, we can proceed with our directors meeting. Is that okay with everybody to do that? Okay,
Yeah, I did.
okay. We can stand at ease for a moment. Thank you.